Before I speak, I have something important to say. I've been around golf for 25 plus years, and these are 15 of the dumbest things I hear golfers saying that you really need to get out of your head ASAP. One of the most recent dumb things I've seen is that people say, if you want to improve your score, hit more greens. Well, the fact is, how do you hit more greens? That is what nobody's saying. The number one thing that you'll see people use to show this is that scratch handicaps hit 10, 5 handicaps hit 8, 10 handicaps hit 6, 15 handicaps hit 5, and 20 handicaps hit 4 greens. That is only a difference of 1 to 2 greens between 5 handicap level. What nobody's talking about is that you have to miss the greens in better areas, as well as keep your ball in play to be able to hit the ball toward those areas. If you're in the trees or you're losing your golf balls, you can't get greenside to be able to chip and putt to save your score. 1 green in regulation saves you 1 shot. What do we do with the other 4 shots? It's all about missing. You can use what you have. Let's say you don't have the confidentiality to go at this hole and carry all of this. Now everyone's saying hit more greens, so now you're trying to force yourself to hit a green here when you don't even have to. Look how we've got so much space on the left, leaving us a very easy chip. When we short side ourselves in the bunkers, when we have not enough green to work with, that's when we can't get up and down for the par, or we can't save our score. So we have to play to the area where we're going to have the highest likelihood of an easy chip. So what I'm going to do is try hit this to the left side. If I fade it, it's going onto the green. If I draw it, it's going to stay left. So I'm going left edge of the green, absolutely money, and we're going to see how we work out. So that went left of the target I had picked, which is the left edge of the green, but we still have a pitch shot up the entire hole. The way to get the ball to where you want it to be is to hit the shot that you can hit 9 times out of 10. That's the secret. Then when you start doing this slowly but surely, the ball will start tracking more toward the green some of the time, and some of the time further away from your landing spot. But then when you're in a stress-free position like this, you want to take advantage of it with another 9 out of 10 shot. For me, the 9 out of 10 shot is a toe down chip. So I'm going to use a 9-iron here and try land this and let it roll out to the hole. And if I can get it close to the hole, we can start making some pars. Otherwise, we take the bogey, and slowly our score will move toward par, bogey, instead of double, bogey, bogey, double. Or maybe a yard onto the green. And that's going to settle up there about 3 feet from the hole, and that we can make for par. If we can get inside 8 feet from here, we give ourselves like a 50-50 chance of getting up and down. That's where the scores come down between handicaps, not from hitting 1 more green in regulation, but putting a process into place. Slowly the greens will be hit, and slowly you'll start to make more up and downs from 0 or 1 out of 10 to 3 or 4 out of 10, saving those 3 or 4 shots we're talking about. Currently, one of the most destructive things people are saying is distance is king. Distance is the key to lower scores. No, like green in regulation, it correlates to score, but it's not the reason for the score. All of these things track better score, longer distance, closer to the hole, making more putts. Everything is interconnected in golf, but distance is not the king here. What the average person hears when people say hit the driver more, hit it longer every single time, is just hit it hard and go as far as you can without considering what's in the way. And the silent part not being spoken is that the distance doesn't come from hitting it harder, getting speed training, or buying a new driver. It comes from hitting the ball better. But you have to use a coach to be able to hit the ball better. Trying to do it yourself, you may end up hitting the ball better, but you need the technique of hitting the ball with a better club face control so that you have less dispersion left and right. Your shot goes more where you want it to go. That is truly where the lower scores come from being able to hit it more where you want to go with less variance left and right. The byproduct of hitting the ball better with better technique is the distance. The distance is not the reason for the score. The other thing you want to get good at is hitting your hybrids and fairway woods if you're not a long hitter. Because from the fairway you can get it closer to the green and then work on your pitching to pitch it closer, start making more pars. That's what you can tell short hitters as well as older players. What are you going to tell an older player? Sorry, you're never going to get better because you can't hit it 250 off the tee, pops. No. You either move up a tee or get better at your long clubs to get close to the green, chip and putt like a bouse. Something dumb I've read is that fairways are overrated. Yes, it's true that every handicap level hits 50% of the fairways. That's true. But what that doesn't explain to you is that the people with lower handicaps are missing the fairways less and putting it in positions they still have a shot. But on top of that, the most important thing is able to read the lie. When you're in the rough, you're going to have 50 different lies in 1 square foot. When you're in the fairway, you're going to have maybe 2 or 3 kinds of lies. You're going to have down grain, up grain, sitting down a bit, sitting up. So maybe 4 lies. Much more predictable to predict the spin and the distance you're going to hit the ball. If you cannot read the lie in your rough, that's going to handicap you even more. There's just minimal guessing in the fairway, a lot of guessing out the rough. Now I picked a 9-iron here. I'm on a downslope. The ball's above my feet. The pin is tucked behind the bunker. I'm sitting kind of on top of the grass, but it's still a flyer lie. I could go underneath it if I don't catch it clean. There's a lot going on here, and if I move the ball 2 inches right, 2 inches left, 2 inches forward, 2 inches back, it's 5 different lies to do that. But if you're not conscious of the lie, and fairways don't matter, and you keep hitting it in the rough because they say let it rip, well, you're going to have to get really good at lie interpretation. I've rolled right through the green because I cannot control the spin from that lie. From a fairway lie, I know I can ground and pound like my coffee dates, a beautiful shot at the hole. It's going to stop within 3 or 4 yards of the pitch mark. And the gurus out there like to say that further up in the rough is better than further back in the fairway. But a PGA Tour pro from 120 in the rough and 180 in the fairway take the exact same number of average shots to finish the hole, 3.08. And those are the best players in the world. So what's it going to be like for us? There's an age-old argument between driver versus 3-wood off the tee. What this is intended to do is to make you hit driver more often because the 3-wood is not much better in terms of hitting fairways. Missing the fairway with the 3-wood is the same as with the driver, except you're further back, blah, blah, blah. But if you take that same dispersion pattern and less distance, you're getting stuck behind trees less. You're getting into hazards less than with your driver, which at 9 degrees, 10 degrees has a bigger propensity to slice and smother left because it's such a low loft. What I'm saying is forget this argument. Let's use 5-woods and 7-woods because 15-degree 3-woods are actually a bit of a distraction because most people don't have the swing speed to fully utilize 15 degrees of loft, where a 17-degree fairway wood, 18-degree fairway wood will go further with more control. The higher the loft, the more control, the less dispersion you have. And that's what we're talking about. Let's keep the ball in play, less distance off the fairway, leaving a second shot clear of obstacles. Now that's got a dispersion to the right, but we're never going OB on that line because it's only a 7-wood. Remember, with a lot of stuff people are telling us about what they've picked up, looking at data, giving you averages, telling you what you should be doing, not based on your game, but based on some blanket statement, that bullshit baffles brains. It's the same as that guy, Jordan Peterson. He just talks endlessly with these long sentences and big words that you look at the person and you go, well, he must be really intelligent because I don't understand half what he's saying. And that's the kind of thing that they're using. So here we take a layup shot, absolutely money, in the fairway. We want a fairway lie, so that we have a predictable third shot into the par 5. I hate hitting into the sun, but it looks like I pulled it off. If you thought the bullshit artist stopped with driver versus 3-wood, there's a worse one. There's the one that people use as this little argument or little cliche to show how much they know. I'd rather have a sand wedge from the rough than a 7-iron in the fairway. Well, it makes a lot of sense if you don't think about it, like a lot of what people say about golf. If we think about that, I did a poll on my YouTube channel where people told me their distances from their driver and their fairway wood. So 2 potential tee clubs. Then their 7-iron and sand wedge distance. We could say statistically for every single person, the distance between their driver and their next club was small. The distance between their sand wedge and their 7-iron was bigger than that distance. To say it another way, if the driver gets to the sand wedge distance in the rough, the next tee shot with a fairway wood would only be 20, 30 or 40 yards back, which would change that sand wedge from the rough, would change it to probably a pitching wedge or 9-iron from the fairway. If they hit their fairway wood off the tee and got it to 7-iron range in the fairway, because this is the argument, fairway wood shorter shot to 7-iron in the fairway, if they hit the driver 20 or 30 yards further into the rough, they would only have a 9-iron into the green. It wouldn't go down to a sand wedge. You need to have the distance to actually hit it so much further, 60, 70 yards, to get the sand wedge in the rough versus the 7-iron. So ignore this BS because this is another one of those little cliches people use without thinking to sound smart. You are now much smarter. Understand how far we hit the ball and our strengths. Let's do it. This is a beautiful setting, 106 yards with a beautiful wedge in hand, just as I planned it. Absolutely beautiful view, stunning. Sun through the trees, Maddie in the hole. Absolutely pin high, stinky winky. How about we say this, 100 yards from the fairway is better than 100 yards from the rough. Oh, just give it too much. Hell of a good putt though, hell of a good putt. What gets Calvin Klein briefs in a bunch more than the short game? 4 things you're going to hear about the short game that are absolutely stupid. 65% of the game and the gains made in your game will come from the long game away from 100 yards. 65%. Then why should I be doing my short game when I'm putting for an 8 on every single hole? It's pointless. Then if you practice your putting, it's going to get you some low-hanging fruit, but you're going to have diminishing returns and you're going to be wasting your time. And the final one is the worst one. This is the one where people say, if you play this way, the golf sidekick way, the way of the player, you're putting too much pressure on your short game. Probably one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. I will address that in a moment, but at the moment I have to give this big old long game 65%er a big old whack. Come on, Matty, get that grip nice. Give it a little butterfly, Stay back, boom it. Hen, mate? Okay, mate? I didn't see it, but you know what? It's in play. Hey, hey! The reason the short game gets such a bad rap from people is because when you play a strategic game and you understand that you miss most of the greens in your entire life, slowly but surely your short game gets exposed, sometimes very quickly, and that hurts like a raw nerve in your tooth. And you have to shy away from it and make excuses. That's why it's very easy to go to the range and smash 40 drivers in a row saying that you're working on this part of the game that's going to improve your score. Look, if you're putting for an 8 and 9 on every hole, I think it's pretty obvious where you need to work on your game. Keeping it in play off the tee, hitting the 9 out of 10 shot every single time, and avoiding hazards. Of course, you need to work on that. But once you get it right, you're still going to have that raw nerve exposed in your mouth on the short game around 100 yards and in, because now you're going to get it closer to the hole in fewer shots, and now you still need to chip and putt. When you're a high handicap, you're trying to get up and down after missing greens 30, 40 yards to the left and right. You have to. By nature and by default, you are a scrambling player. When you get better, down to scratch, and you're hitting 8, 9, 10, 11 greens around, you're still missing half the greens. To keep that score level and try shoot level par, you need to get up and down. You're hitting the ball further, you're getting it to wedge range, you need to take advantage of that. Everything stems from the short game. It is the bedrock of all of golf. If you remove it by thinking that you're getting diminishing returns and focus only on the long game, hell, you're going to be a great long game player, but you're not going to be able to score because you need to get up and down in less than 3 shots as often as you can. Now, I've got myself in the rough here, and as they say, in the rough is better, longer than in the fairway, shorter. I now have an unpredictable lie ball below my feet in the cow grass, not on the Bermuda or Zoysia, and I have to go over a bunker from 194 yards. Now, of course, less predictable, and I put myself in a long bunker shot from one difficult lie to another difficult shot. Keep it straighter, less off the fairway, more predictable shots, easier follow-up shots. My closing point with a short game is that it keeps you in the game regardless of your handicap. If you can get up and down and finish that hole nicely, putting your 5-footers away, you take that confidentiality with you to the next tee. It just builds back from the hole. When you can make your 5-footers, you can putt your lag putts aggressively. You can chip aggressively. You can hit the ball with your irons with less pressure because now you can get up and down. You can hit the drives easier because now you don't have much pressure on your irons to perform to make up for your poor drives. Once the short game is in order, you can confidently know when you're in trouble. If you can pitch it to a certain distance through the trees, you can get up and down from there. That is mind-blowingly confidentiality building, about as much as having a confidential drive that you know where it's going. Those two things are the biggest contributors to better scores. So when we hit our shots, we have to find where we're aiming. That's part of the short game. And we talked about this in the other stuff. Everything is interrelated, as you can see. This is a 170-yard shot. I don't want to go beyond that pin. It's straight downhill. These are intangibles you cannot measure. And that is one of the things that I really want to drive home, is that stats don't lie because stats don't speak. Stats are mute and deaf. It takes the narrator, the narrative builder, to give you a story that you listen to understand the stats. If you trust that person, you're going to believe what they say. What I'm saying here is the intangibles. Reading the lie of the golf ball. Knowing your shot shape, aiming for your shot shape, knowing your confidentiality level. It's your 15th club in the bag. Knowing where to miss, knowing exactly what club to chip with in a certain situation, knowing where the short side is, avoiding the short side. Club selection because of based on the lie. What kind of spin is going to come out? How is it going to react on the green? I haven't caught all of that, but it's kind of on that pulled line I talked about. And it's actually gone pin high Intangibles, we're talking about upslope, downslope. We're talking about sliders left to righter. Do you know downhill, if you hit it softer, you're going to give it more chance to take a break? Do you know that when you're downhill, it takes more break because of the slower speed, and then at the end, it really moves a lot? Do you know that an uphill putt, if you hit it firm, because you have to, it removes some of the break, and actually the first 6 to 8 feet, or maybe first third of the putt, takes no break because it's skipping over most of that break unless the slope is huge. Do you know that the grain is going to counteract the slope sometimes? Do you know the grain can increase the speed on a downhill putt if it's down grain? Intangibles. I want everyone to be conscious of this stuff, because you can use this stuff to improve your game, thereby improving your statistics, but actually you're putting a process into place which improves the statistics that allow it to come. Turn now, turn! Oh, just a little firm down the hill, because this is the part of the game that keeps you in the game, keeps you scoring and not taking 3 putts, which is a killer in your golf game. But inside 5 feet is really something you can just focus on relentlessly. One of the ways to know that somebody is being a dum-dum is if they criticize a golf course when somebody plays well. So on my videos, what you'll see is I'll play a jungle course, which has areas of 50 and 60 yards wide, where on either side of it is jungle where the ball disappears, like it just gets gobbled, you can't find it. If you take so much struggle to get the ball into play, you have to be rewarded with welcoming green complexes. This course I'm playing now, you'll lose a lot less golf balls on because there are a lot wider landing areas on other holes. But then when you approach the green, after you've done the easy work, now you have to avoid deep ass bunkers right next to the green, and you have a lot of slopes on the green. Every course is defended a certain way. Understand that every golf course is easy, and every golf course is difficult depending where you hit the golf ball. And if you want to learn more about this, read Tom Doak's book, The Anatomy of a Golf Course. That is the ultimate in golf architecture to help you understand how they design golf courses for every single golfer's skill level. So it came out a bit left, which is fine. That's in play. We're not playing this as a 2-shot, we're playing this as a 3-shotter. One of the most stinky-winky things people say is that playing strategic golf or playing to your strengths like this is old man golf. That's boring. I'm going to get bored with golf. That's not exciting. Golf is supposed to be exciting. Well, unfortunately, scoring is not actually exciting. Scoring actually is a process, and that process and discipline to actually follow that process is what makes this interesting and fun. The hedonism of trying to chase something that you can't do is supposed to be fun, but actually ends up leaving most people quitting the game or being depressed. My main question though when people say this is, well, what is exciting golf? Because this is where it falls apart. To a 25 handicapper, exciting golf is PGA Tour. If you come and try to play PGA Tour golf and you don't have the skills, you're not going to be a 25 handicap, you're going to be a 30 handicapper. You will not break 95 doing that. This I know, because when I play golf and I score low, it's not boring for me. What's boring for me is hitting the ball all over the show, trying to chase PGA Tour shots, and then ending up losing golf balls and feeling frustrated. That's stupid. It's not exciting. When you play golf, you have this roller coaster of emotions when you're attached to the outcome and you're attached to this delusion of PGA Tour. That roller coaster of emotions may be exciting for a while, but eventually it's going to wear you out. When you play golf, you want to be level, not a super roller coaster. And the way you do that is by focusing on the process. That's old man golf, the opposite of exciting golf. It's keep the ball in play, hit to your strengths, lay up to your favorite places, keep your score down, and slowly but surely you start to get a joy in that meditative experience of being in the process that everything else disappears. When you're so focused on the outcome and you're so focused on external things, trying to be this exciting golfer, which, let's be honest, we're playing golf. You tell any girl you're playing golf, you're not getting laid. Let's be real. It's not an exciting sport. So let's let go of this machismo, bravado, oh, I'm a tough golfer. We're playing golf, brothers. Get the ball in the hole in as few as you can. That's life in the fast lane. Old man golf with young man distance, even though I am middle-aged. And just like that, I think I've probably cut off about 30 yards. The handicap denier may be one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. This is when a person has no self-awareness. The handicap denier will look at someone play and judge their swing and say there's no way that they're that handicap, they're cheating their handicap down. What they don't understand is that they're giving themselves away, showing that their self-awareness is very low and their ego is very fragile. Because when you play golf, the handicap system only takes 8 out of your last 20 rounds in. So if you see someone play 3 or 4 rounds in a row really bad, that's only 3 out of 4 out of 20 rounds that count toward their handicap. If you're then judging them by their swing, that's even worse, because you can judge someone's handicap more by their clothes and appearance than by their swing. We don't keep score of swings, we keep score of shots. So if somebody is playing the shots and putting them in the right position, they're going to score. If you have a problem with someone's handicap thinking it's too low, one of the things you can do is begin self-awareness that you don't understand the handicap system, and secondly, if it is too low, rather be quiet about it, challenge them to a money game and take their money. Or be quiet about it on the competition days and let them keep coming stone last, giving you, the honest golfer, the opportunity to win all the prizes. This is basic self-awareness 101. Money. The way the handicap denier gives away their lack of knowledge in the handicap system is where they assume that whatever handicap you are, you have to shoot that number over par when you play together. So a 10 handicap has to shoot an 82, otherwise they fake. People's minds have been poisoned by the PGA Tour when the only golf they get to watch are these amazing swings. The other thing is you get to watch people on YouTube, these young guys who have all they've been doing has been playing golf their whole life with all the access to everything they could possibly need. And then you think that's what a swing looks like to be a 5 handicap, a 10 handicap, 15 handicap. The other thing is not knowing slope and course rating. So if you go play Bethpage Black from the back tee, 7,400 yards, par 71, you have to shoot a 78 to be classified as a scratch handicap. You have to shoot an 83 to be seen as a 3 handicap. That's how the handicap system works because of course and slope rating. And the handicap deniers give themselves away for not understanding that very basic thing in the handicap system. Another intangible, I of course want to hit fairways, but the distance I hit the ball with the low amount of loft, with the swing speed I have, any degree off target is going to put me in the rough. But the reason I'm a lower handicap is because I can read the lies. I spent a lot of time in the last few years just reading, assessing the lies, understanding what's going to happen. And that intangible is what allows me to be a little wilder off the tee while not getting into trouble, and then assess that lie and hit the next shot. But for most golfers, they're going to copy paste the same shot from the same distance. Here I should be hitting a pitching wedge. I'm going to hit a 48 degree because I don't want to go over the back of the green here. And if I catch it, it's going to be a flyer because there's grass behind the ball in the crab grass mixed with zoysia. There's 2 grasses here. When I hit the shot, it should have low spin, so it's either going to land and bound on the full 135 yards, or I'm going to catch it real bad and I'm going to leave myself short of the green, 25 yards short, leaving myself a chip up the green. If I hit a pitching wedge and catch it real good, I'm over the back, impossible up and down. So these are the intangibles we're talking about. So I know I've talked about fairways being premium, but I just can't hit that many because of how fast I swing the golf club. Actually sitting up quite nicely, so it should fly, no spin, actually decent distance. No, that's short, but at least that's better than a pitching wedge over the green. Oh my word, that's not short at all. What did I eat this morning, girl? A little onigiri. And if you find yourself locking onto a blanket statement that somebody's making based on data, well, that's a postmodern nonsense thing people have created, because you don't live your life data-driven. Nobody does. We are not rational beings. So if you're trying to find a blanket statement to latch onto, it means that you are trying to use your confirmation bias to actually further justify what you believe. And that is very dangerous. If you're dogmatic in golf and you believe certain things without really thinking about it, it can hurt your golf game. These are very important things. Blanket statements don't work in golf, as you've seen all the nuance and intangibles that go into every single shot and how we play this course. This is how it's done. Those are the dumbest things golfers say in the world and the story behind it. Now we're going to try hold this for a birdie on this unlikely birdie hole. No, I still think I'm on freaking Augusta.